Alright my friends, so finally we have the second drip marketing for version 3.6 and it's none other than Dan Heng himself. So we are going to talk about him, his design and what he could bring for the meta as well. And I would love to hear your opinion about it in the comments section below. Now before we start, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell beside it to stay notified with everything new about Honkai Star Rail. And without any further ado, let's just get started. So as you can see, first of all, his design. Let's talk about his design because I know that this is one of the most controversial topics about him. His design looks, to me, everybody has their own preferences. To me, it looks actually very good. He looks older, he looks way taller, to be honest. Even taller than Imbibitor Lune, I would say. And he has a lance again. The fact that they gave him a lance again is so awesome. And then the dragon itself looks so cool. I really like his design. Now, if we are going to compare the new design for Dan Heng with the new design for basically March 7th, March 7th would win by a mile. That is without a discussion. The new design that they gave March 7th clearly shows which character they think is going to basically sell more. However, does that mean that his design is bad? No, his design is very good, in my opinion at least. If you don't like it, that is completely okay. Your opinion and my opinion are both completely valid. And then we have basically his dress. His dress is most likely the biggest turn off for people because of the fact that it didn't change a lot, unfortunately. And then he has basically a tail, a dragon tail. We are used to people having basically a fox tail. This boy here has a dragon tail. This is ridiculous and it's so tall, it's crazy. Either way, this is my opinion about his design. I myself like the design, but I understand if people doesn't like it that much because it didn't change him as much as basically the new design for March 7th changed March 7th. Either way, his typing is going to be basically physical and his path is going to be preservation. We finally got our yearly preservation character. If you don't know the meme, throughout the entire first year we had only 2 preservation characters. One of them was a launch character. And then throughout the entire second year we got only 1 preservation character, and that was basically Aventurine. And now throughout the entire third year, which we are basically moving on right now, we got our very first preservation character. We don't know if we are going to get any other, but if we go through the past, all we got was only 1 summonable preservation character for the first year and only 1 summonable preservation character for the second year. And that is understandable. What they want to sell us is characters that we are going to buy, and usually preservation characters are the least selling characters because people tend to summon for healers more than preservation, and people tend to summon for damage dealers way more than any healer and any preservation character, and therefore they don't really like to give us many preservation characters because they are just going to basically put in effort and time and basically a lot of money for pretty much no return. The return is either going to be break even or it might be even worse as well. So that's why they don't give us so many preservation characters. But either way, we are finally getting our third summonable preservation character, and it's going to be Dan Heng. Now, they did confirm, the developers confirmed that we are going to get a free-to-play character later this year, and they didn't specify when. However, since we don't have actually a lot of time for this year left, I think that this Dan Heng might be actually the free-to-play character. There is no way they would give us March 7th as a free-to-play character. There is no way they would give us Cyrene as a free-to-play character. So yeah, I think that the only character that is left is Dan Heng. I feel like until we reach Cyrene, we would be pretty much at the end of the year. If not, we would be basically at pretty much... basically, we are going to be at the 11th month, I think. Yeah, we should be somewhere around there, if not even the 12th. So basically, we aren't going to be so far from the end of the year, and therefore I think that the only character that makes sense is going to be basically Dan Heng. Either way, he looks cool, and his new name is just Dan Heng Permansor Terrae. Oh my god, this is so hard to pronounce. I hope that I didn't basically completely butcher the pronunciation of the name, but either way. Amphoreus Saga of Heroes, Dan Heng. I am not going to pronounce that again. As you can see, that transformation was brought about by the power of the Permanence. Though you may have many questions, I'd like to reintroduce myself before I answer them. I am the guard of the Astral Express, your companion Dan Heng the Nameless. So unlike Evernight, here Dan Heng is Dan Heng. He is saying that he is the nameless Dan Heng that we are familiar with. When it comes to Evernight, they tried to make it a little bit more a mysterious character that doesn't really have special relation with us, but still did record and see everything that we did basically with March 7th. So that is the difference between the marketing for Dan Heng and the marketing for Evernight. Soaring dragon without restraint, Dan Heng, I'm not gonna pronounce that. The chest of Georios and the body of walking dragon shoulder the shattered earth, enduring 1,000 years of suffering. By the way, Georios is basically the Earth Titan. This is another Titan that we never met and we never saw the basically Coreflame of, because they already basically returned the Coreflame by the time we started the story. Nameless Dan Heng, Chrysos Heir, who guards the Earth Coreflame. Yeah, the Earth Coreflame. You must steady the world as it falls and guide all life across the land to a new home beyond. All rivers flow to the sea, mountains echo in chorus, the path of permanence shall stretch beyond horizons. Affiliated city beyond the sky, divine authority, pillar of stone, Georios. Now, the thing about this affiliated city is that both March 7th and Dan Heng are basically beyond the sky. Now, you might ask, what is the problem with that? Well, we all thought that March 7th would be basically originally from Amphoreus, but since she has affiliated city beyond the sky, that pretty much means that she is not actually originally from Amphoreus. Otherwise, she would have had that city that she was born in as her affiliated city. But it might be just so that they would not basically spoil the story. That is a possibility as well, but most likely if she was originally from Amphoreus, they would have wrote the name of the city that she was born in here. Either way, he looks cool. His typing and his path are cool as well, so we will see how good he is going to be for the meta. He is definitely going to be very useful if his kit is good, because of the fact that he is our very first preservation character since the second anniversary. So, or since the first anniversary actually. I think that Aventurine came during the first anniversary, right? He was together with Acheron, yeah. So since the first anniversary, this is our very first preservation character. So he is definitely a character that we need in the meta right now. And hopefully we are going to move on from that HP inflated meta, and we would move on to a meta where we can use basically shields and preservation characters. Either way, this is my opinion about him. I would love to hear your opinion about him in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell beside it to stay notified with everything new about Honkai Star Rail. And until next time, see you as always in the next video.